I'm here in Spain at this beautiful little club circuit, and I'm driving the Porsche E-Hybrid. This is the Turbo Coupe. Why would I be driving close to a 2,600 kilo SUV on a race circuit? Doesn't really make sense, does it? Except it is a Porsche. And the fact that in the turbo version, said V8 and battery power provides 729 horsepower and 700 pound-feet of torque. This is a monster. It is the sports car of SUVs. Now, as I said, close to 2,600 kilos, that's a lot of weight, but the turbo drives beautifully. It's very stable at speed, and we're hitting 200 kilometers an hour. It is a lovely vehicle to drive. While also pursuing the EV agenda, as all vehicle manufacturers are, Porsche is still using its engineering might to expand its line of plug-in gas-electric vehicles. Witness the Cayenne S E-Hybrid and Turbo E-Hybrid, new for 2024 and joining the already established and now base model E-Hybrid. But while greater fuel efficiency might be one of the reasons Porsche's expanded the range, with that name comes the expectation there will be a substantial measure of performance from these new sport-utes, hybrid powertrain or not. Porsche is placing even greater focus on e-performance with the revised 2024 Cayenne. So the new powertrain variants, which make for a total of 5 different versions, comprise the Cayenne S E-Hybrid and the Cayenne Turbo E-Hybrid, each available as an SUV and as a coupe. There's also the Turbo E-Hybrid Coupe with GT package, but only in markets that don't already sell the gas GT Turbo. Canada does, so customers here are SOL for now. While each of these models has a slightly different focus, they all have 3 things going for it: performance, efficiency, and everyday usability. In the Cayenne S E-Hybrid, the revised turbocharged 3-liter V6 puts out a solid 348 horsepower, the engine paired with a 174 horsepower electric motor. Together, total system output is 512 horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque. Translated into driving performance, the S E-Hybrid accelerates to 100 kilometers an hour in 4.7 seconds. But if you truly want the sports car of SUVs in your driveway, the Cayenne Turbo E-Hybrid is where you need to be. Sure, Porsche will extol the improved hybrid technology and increased electric range before it brings the thunder. That same 174 horsepower electric motor, as in the S E-Hybrid, is now supporting a 591 horsepower twin-turbo 4-liter V8. The total system output is 729 horsepower and 700 pound-feet of torque. Translation, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.7 seconds and a 295 kilometer an hour top speed. The new 5-seat Cayenne E-Hybrid models feature a significantly larger high-voltage battery, which is mounted underneath the trunk area. The new 11 kilowatt onboard charger can reduce the charging time to less than 2.5 hours, despite the increased battery capacity. Obviously, this is dependent on the power source, likely a public AC charging station. The in-home wall charger will definitely take longer. There are no Canadian electric range and efficiency figures provided yet, but Porsche says European test figures will show up to 78 kilometers for the S E-Hybrid and up to 73 kilometers for the Turbo E-Hybrid. We'll see. My driving partner and I saw a 65 kilometer readout on a supposedly fully charged turbo model. Now the burning question is, how do they drive? And time behind the wheel of both the S and Turbo consisted of negotiating the morning rush of Barcelona traffic before beetling along the Mediterranean coastline and making a 90-degree turn inland onto the twisty back roads that brought us to a club circuit somewhere deep in Spain. The drive to the track was uneventful, save for the fact the mid-size Cayenne is a big vehicle among a sea of smaller vehicles plying the Spanish roads and highways. The ride was exemplary. Both E-hybrids come with standard active air suspension with two-chamber, two-valve technology. Depending on how they are driven, as well as the drive mode selected, the Porsches offer a broad range between posh and sports-like hunkering down. The question of whether blasting a $170,000, nearly 2,600 kilogram sport ute around a track as it is an important selling feature misses the point. Porsche had determined that we should experience the Turbo E-Hybrid's full 729 horsepower fury. Interestingly, the S-Hybrid, despite its 513 horsepower powertrain, was deemed unworthy of such shenanigans. But getting straight to the point, the Cayenne is indeed a sports car in SUV sheet metal. Whether the fast sweepers or that one switchback-like corner, grip was phenomenal for such a heavy ride. The one weak point were the brakes, acknowledging the fact that the SUVs had been flogged for an entire week by several waves of international auto riders. Braking required a lot of heavy pedal action to scrub speeds exceeding 200 kilometers an hour. The GT package, which isn't offered in Canada, remember, comes with massive ceramic composite discs. And if taking the Turbo Coupe with a package out for a hoon is something that you simply have to do, fork over the extra $10,300 for the composite brake option. Driving a Cayenne of any stripe will promise generous helpings of luxury, technology, name recognition, and performance, to the point that if you could only have one vehicle in your garage to do it all, it's a well-considered solution. Choosing one of the E-Hybrid models is a bonus. Plenty of power with a side order of green. I'd be hard-pressed to say the Turbo offers nearly $60,000 more of additional good stuff over the S, which is no slouch in the horsepower department. But if you want it all and you want it fast, it's the way to go. If you want a track monster that is also a perfectly acceptable family vehicle, and you have the bucks, you're going to have to go a long way to find something better than the turbo version of the E-Hybrid. For Driving.ca, I'm Brian Harper.